Today I'm going to show you two different kinds of animals that you can create with your toilet paper rolls. Now there's many different kinds of animals. Today I'm going to show you a cat and I'm going to show you a dog. So obviously one thing you need is toilet paper rolls. Some other helpful things would be, bright colors from magazines. I found some really kind of cool texture. I think this is a railroad heading from a shipping yard, you can see up here. But anyway, I love to find things from magazines and find some interesting textures and so forth. So it's good to have that. I was thinking to myself the other day when I was looking at the stick people I had made, another great thing you can use as a material. If you remember, we did those Van Gogh flowers. So if you have some leftover coffee filters and you do a little bit of color on them, that's another great way to make paper, you guys, to make colorful paper. So that's another thing. And then we always have our friend tinfoil that always adds some brightness to our projects. Anyway, so here's the start of my cat. I went ahead and got a good start on it just so that I could show you some of the basic things with it. This is the start of my owl. All right, and you see what a similar form they both are. And remember, form is the three-dimensional version of something. Shape is something that is flat or two-dimensional. All right, so when you have your toilet paper roll, and you might have a white roll or this kind of roll, you might have some that still have the paper on it. You can peel that off if you want, but you don't necessarily have to. The first thing you want to do is to make a cat or an owl, you want to kind of just fold in, and now I've created either ears for a cat or ear tufts for an owl. Now, you may not know this, but these are not actually the owl's ears. An owl's ears are actually on the side of its head. One is close to the top of its head, and one is close to the bottom of its head. These do not act as ears, but they're called ear tufts. Anyway, so let me show you the cat first. So what I did is I cut strips of paper from a magazine and from newspaper, and I started to create a pattern, and I made them kind of wavy because I wanted to make it kind of like a tabby cat. So I just started by gluing my strips of paper on my paper roll, just like that. Now, I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute, but what I really wanted to show you is when I got close to the top here, what I am going to do is I'm going to take some smaller pieces of paper and tear them, and I am just going to start kind of collaging these on because it's tricky to kind of cover this part up just with strips of paper. Now, I'm using my handy-dandy glue sponge. If you don't have that, that's fine. Put a little glue on a piece of magazine paper or something and just start smearing it on with your finger. That's good too. But I'm just going to collage all this newspaper on, and so that I have another surface that I can draw on if I want to. Now you don't have to do this, of course. This is just, I wanted to do this to kind of create some more consistency here. So I'm just going to continue to put this all around until I have it all covered. You don't have to use newspaper. You could also use the colorful magazine paper if you wanted. All right? Whatever you like. It's up to you. So, I'm not going to do this whole thing because it might be kind of boring to watch. So, here we go. I'm going to put this one little last piece on, and then I'll get started. But I would continue to collage this whole thing, just like what I did with the owl here. Alright, so once that's on, I'm going to take my last strip of paper, and I'm going to put that on just like this. So here's my strip of paper, and when I have a glue sponge, I just poke it in like that, and I get it all nice and gluey. Oh my gosh, I love glue sponges so much because they just keep the glue off your hands. Okay, I'm gonna press that on just like that. And I have a little bit too much, so I'm just going to take my scissors and clip it off. So I feel like now I'm done with that part of my cat. Now what I'm going to do here is I've cut some eyes out of paper, but before I glue those on, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do some coloring. Take my marker here, and I'm going to make the iris, and then the pupil, you know, is kind of like a football shape. And I always like to leave a little bit of glimmer in my eyes. So again, I'm going to make the iris here. That's the colored part of a cat's eye or your eye. And then here's the football pupil. Just like that. And you know what? I'm also going to just take some time here and outline my eye, just so that it can stand out a little bit more. Ooh! Stand out a little bit more. That adds a little bit more emphasis, and emphasis means that you add importance to it. You emphasize something. Make it stand out so people can see it. Alright. And I'm going to give my cat some yellow eyes. So I'm going to take my marker. Now if you don't have markers, again you could use, you know, magazine paper. But in order to draw on magazine paper, you need to use a Sharpie marker. Alright, so here is my eyeball. I'm going to stick that on. I'm not going to worry about making sure that it's flat. I kind of like how it kind of sticks off the toilet paper roll a little bit. Here's my other eyeball. And I'm missing some things like a nose. So once again, I've cut that out of this little tiny piece of paper. Just a triangle here. Alright, I'm going to stick that on. Ooh, my finger's gluey. I'm going to stick that on. Maybe hold it for a little bit. It's kind of slippery when you glue it onto the magazine paper, right? And then what I've done here is I've made some paws. Now you might be like, well, excuse me, Miss Krista, they just look like the letter O. Well, let's turn these into paws. So, I made 2 bottom feet and 2 top feet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach these by folding them. Now it's really hard to attach anything when it's 3-dimensional just like this. So you want to make them big enough so you can make a little bit of a fold, so it looks like that. But before I attach them, what I want to do is make sure I give them maybe some feet, paw-looking toes or whatever. So now as I draw 4 toes on here, I'm remembering to myself that cats, I think, only have 3 toes. I don't have a cat, I have a dog. So I'm going to draw one with 3 and one with 4. Maybe they just are special and they have 4 toes on one foot. Anyway, to glue those on, I just put some glue on the back of this little half moon thing right here. And I'm just going to stick that on the bottom. Do you have to make paws? No. It's just more detail, you know. Details are what make an artwork. So, there's my paw so far. This is one big-footed cat, y'all. So there's that, and now I'm going to make my other paws. These are my other feet. And if you want to get really fancy, what you could do is you could cut some colored paper and make claws sticking off of them. Alright? And I'm going to glue those on the exact same way, so they're kind of sticking out. Just like that. Now, the other thing my cat is needing is a tail. So, here's my tail. I just drew it on one of those note cards that I had lying around. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it on the back right here. Now, you could color it if you wanted to. I'm not going to color it. I mean, you all know how to color. So, one thing I think I might do, though, is I'm going to do this a little accordion fold. So, I just go back and forth to make like a little spring, just to give some movement a little bit to the tail. So this is my cat's tail now, alright? And I'm just going to put some glue right here. You can see that. I want to get that nice and gluey. And I'm going to hold that probably for like 10 Mississippi seconds. It might be something that's worth hot gluing on. But, oh, I guess it's gluing pretty well. So, there is my cat so far. Now, I can also put whiskers on. Now remember, if you're going to draw on the magazine paper, you want to use a Sharpie marker, alright? I can add some details up here in the ears. I could make him a little hat if I wanted to. I could have him holding a fish. All these different details that you can create.